billing cycle.
Yes.
The projected.
All right, so we have our billing cycle, which is a preset amount of time that's determined from the credit card company. And we talked about that a little bit yesterday, and it's usually between 28 to 31 days. Now, based on your credit worthiness, they might shorten that. There can be a 15-day billing cycle if you have bad credit. They don't want you to go too far between payments. But again, that'll be part of the arrangements made when you first open the account. And you get all that information. They send you a whole bunch of paper. Your credit card statement is the bill and is an account of all credits and debits. Now, credits are payments. Or possibly like refunds or something. Anyway, money going into the account, and then debits are purchases that you've made. This is the money that comes out of the account. Okay. Your account number is a unique number that is used to identify the account. You'd need this to know anything at all about your transactions. If you call them, they want to know the account number. And then you have to verify that you're you. Usually the account number is also the credit card number, like on the actual credit card. Your credit line is the maximum amount that you're allowed to purchase. So you have a credit line of $500 or $1,000 or $200 or whatever they decide you're allowed to spend. And then your available credit is the difference between what you've spent and any charges that you've incurred, like finance charges, and the amount you're allowed to spend. So whatever's left over, that's your available credit. We have our billing date, which is the date that they actually process and print the statement or the bill. And then they mail it to you, usually the next day. It doesn't usually get mailed on the same day it's processed. Yes.
So that's like if you only pay like the minimum for the monthly bill, then that's,
Here.
yeah. I'm sorry, that's.
Oh no, I'm up here. So the billing date is the date it's written. Now this all shows up on your credit card statement. There's a billing date, which is the day they actually process the bill. You have the payment due date, so this is the day that you have to pay by. And it's not the day you have to mail it by. This is the day they have to be able to receive and process it by. So you usually have to mail it, to be safe, about a week ahead of time, just to make sure. Or if you go pay it online, like a day or two before, because it takes usually 24 to 48 hours to process. And they will charge you a late fee if it hasn't processed by the date it's due. Okay. Transactions are listed on your credit card statement, and those are all of the purchases you've made, and the date and the total of all the transactions. Now, the dates can be listed one of three ways. There's the posted date, which is the date that it's processed into your account. There's the transaction date, which is the day you actually do the purchase. So if I were to go to the store today, so today's the 27th, and I run a credit card, my transaction date is today, the 27th. The posted date could be tomorrow, it could be Saturday, it could be Monday. So the 28th or the 1st or the 3rd might be my posted date. And then some companies list both, the transaction date and the posted date. So you just want to be aware of which is which, so that when you're looking at things, you don't look at this and go, I didn't go to Target on the 3rd. Well, if I went on today, but they don't process it till the 3rd, you know, so just be aware of that. Debits are the amounts that are charged to the account. Those are positive numbers. Credits are the amount paid to the account, so those are negative numbers. And the reason they're positive, even though it's a debit, is kind of backwards, right? We think debit is to subtract, but it's being added to the total you owe them. So it's a running list of your total that you owe. So that's why it's positive, because it's being added to your debt. And then the credit is negative because it's being subtracted from the money that you owe. So you're thinking in terms of what you owe, and then the debits are positive and the credits are negative, even though that's backwards from the way it is like in a banking account situation. And then your previous balance, Kaylin, this will be the question your previous balance is the money that you owe from last month. So I got my January bill and I paid it, but I didn't pay it in full. So whatever I still owed after my payment process gets carried over to the next month. So that's the previous balance that shows up. So the payments or credits are the total amount of money received by the creditor. So this is payments that you've made, and then if you've had any refunds applied to the card, that'll show up in there too, like refunds and payments. Your new purchases, there's a section where it shows a sum of all of your total new charges. Then you have the late charge area. If you make a late payment, you get charged a penalty, and it gets charged to the following month. So if I pay the January bill late, it's charged on the February bill. If I pay the February bill late, it'll be charged on the March bill. So the late payment gets applied to the following month. Finance charge is the interest on the current billing period. So that's the interest for that month's average daily balance. And then the new balance is the amount currently owed. So that's the total of any new purchases, late charges, and finance charges. So we add those three together. So new purchases plus any late charges plus any finance charges equals the new balance. So these three together. Okay. Okay, so the minimum payment is the lowest payment they will accept without a penalty. Now that's not to say it's the lowest payment they will accept. If you send them $5 and the minimum payment is $20, they will take your $5 and apply it towards your balance. But you're going to get a late charge because you can pay the full minimum payment. So it is better if you can't pay the full minimum payment to send that $5 or $10 that you can afford, because yes, you still get a late payment fee, but you don't get a no payment report on your credit report. Yeah.
If they have no early what's it called when there's an early payment?
That's on a loan. That won't be on a credit card. You can pay off your credit card whenever you want. There's no penalties for paying off your credit card. You just have an early payment penalty possibly on certain loans.
What if you pay off like almost all of it and just wait until the last month and $20?
You'd be accruing interest on that $20, so it would be more than 20.
Would it be less interest than if you paid it off?
It would be in the promissory note that would have the details about that. It depends on the actual contract for that particular loan. Okay, your average daily balance is the average amount owed per day in the billing period. So remember yesterday we did some calculations for that. So that's how that goes on your bill. The number of days in your billing cycle is the number of days in your billing cycle. You have your APR, which is your annual percentage rate, and then your monthly periodic rate is your APR divided by 12. Okay, when we look at this, this is a sample credit card statement. Can you see that okay up there? All right. We have her account number, the billing date, so this is the day that it was processed. The payment date is the day that the payment is due. You've got her purchases from the gift shop, the pizza place, the department store, the bookstore, and then she has made a payment on January 21st. If you look in the summary section, her previous balance is the balance that's being carried over from the previous bill, so the January bill. She's made a payment of $75. She has $284.45 worth of new purchases. She doesn't have a late charge. She does have a finance charge. Here's her new balance. She owes a minimum of $20. Her total credit line is $8,000. Her available credit is $7,636. Her average daily balance, the number of days in her billing cycle, her annual percentage rate, and her monthly periodic rate. Yeah.
Can you, like, say I have a bill that's like $100.
Here's the gray part, and we want to explain how the new purchases amount was determined. determined, okay? So this was, the new purchases amount was determined by adding all of the transactions. That are purchases. So if we look at that bill, she has a gift shop for $75, and a pizza for $31.85, and then a department store for $139.10, and then a bookstore for $38.50. That adds up to the new purchases. And then the new balance is the previous balance less the new purchases plus a finance charges minus any payments. Okay? So previous balance plus new purchases plus finance charges, these are all of the charges, minus any payments gives you the new balance. So, and I'm just going to put in here kind of if you had any late charges, those get added in too. She didn't have any, but if there were any, they would get added in as well. We have Pasquale's credit line is $15,000. Here's his summary. We want to know what's his available credit. Okay, so he had a previous balance of $150.50. That's previous. He purchased $284.45. He doesn't have any late charges. He does have a finance charge of $353, which gives him that new balance. It should match. Oh, it shouldn't match yet because I haven't done the payment, but 437.48. But then he made a payment of $75. That's the payment. $363. I must have added something wrong. Oh yeah, this should be an 8. Sorry. Okay, so 363.48 is his new balance. That does match. Okay. His summary or his credit line is 15,000, and he spent 363.48 of it. So his available credit is 15,000 minus 363.48. So he still has $14,636.52 to spend. The new balance. So let's check it. Okay, we have a previous balance. We have new purchases. We have a late charge. We have a finance charge. So these are all of the debits, right? So we have to add all those up. And then she made a payment of $100. Okay, so this is what it should be. Here's where the mistake is.
Why would you complain about that? That's saying she has more money than she has.
No, that's saying she owes more money.
I was just saying.
Yeah.
Thing is, like,
See, see how this number matches our number when we added all of the charges?
Yeah, that's what I was
They
trying
didn't
to say.
subtract out her payment, so that's where the mistake was made, they didn't process her payment.
If they give you too much money, can you just leave it and not question it?
I might find out later. We're in section 5,
I personally just add whatever